tell him. But she's not here today. So, a man walks into a bar. He's immediately eliminated from the limbo competition. Do I need to draw a diagram?
Please.
It took a minute.
Okay, and here's a science joke. A neutron walks into a bar. He goes to pay for his drink, and the bartender says, "For you, neutron, no charge."
That was good as the last one.
I got that.
Okay, do you know why the broom was late for the meeting? He overswept.
You're right.
Because it's so hard on me, I quit.
It's gonna be tough to beat. Like we know that.
How do you know when you're a pirate? You just are.
Alright, we got 3 minutes.
Oh,
Okay, one of my favorites. A man and his dog go into a bar. The bartender said, "I'm sorry, we don't allow dogs here." The man says, "It's a talking dog." He said, "Okay, I'll give you one chance." He asked the dog, "What is on top of a house?" The dog goes, "Roof, roof." The bartender points to the door. He said, "Let me have one more try. Who is the greatest baseball player of all time?" The dog goes, "Roof, roof." The bartender kicks him out as they're leaving the bar. The dog says, "What did you want me to say, Willie Mae?"
3 minutes are up.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, my favorite joke of all time. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana.
Knock, knock. Banana. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Orange. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
Sounds like a grandchild.
Yeah. I have an active dialogue with my 6-year-old grandson about these jokes.
We can tell.
So we're really gonna miss this.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't think so. Okay, looks like we're up to about 1 minute, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So see what you get when you attend in person. You get great jokes, never to be told again.
Alright, you're on.
Welcome to our member forum. We have this every last Thursday of the month following our Tuesday board meeting. We have a lot to talk about today. As you have noticed in the clubhouse, the refurbishment is in full swing. They'll be working here in the ballroom starting today. They'll take a little break for Catholic Mass and then begin again. They are putting on the wall covering in the card room. The library is ready, except for furniture, and we have a group of interested people who will reshelve the many boxes of books that we have. The living room has a little touch up on the tabby front of the fireplace, and then there'll be a floating mantle in there. all furniture will be arriving early November. And the casual dining room, which has been being worked on for the last several weeks, just needs some lighting, a chandelier, and then banquette setting in the center of the room. And then we'll be ready there. We will be using the casual dining room and the club room while they begin in the formal dining room this week. So the formal dining room, the Magnolia Room will be used. And they will be completing also the rotunda by scaling the columns. Did you notice how much bigger it was without those big columns around the edges of the rotunda? Lots of great room for us to be able to enjoy. Thank you all for coming to the event last night. Michael and I both are honored. I'll be introducing Michael Friedel, our new executive director, in a few minutes. But first, some more announcements. We have a board of directors election coming up. That'll be at the end of November. First week of December. And we have 3 board members who will be rotating off. John Brink and Jim Schoonover will not be seeking re-election, and Penny Walthouse, who is currently our secretary-treasurer, will be seeking a second term. And then we have some other candidates. Please see the nominating committee as we come to an end of accepting nominations. It's Active Aging Week starts Monday, October the 2nd. We will kick it off with a 3:30 in the afternoon cornhole, croquet, and Chardonnay at the games court. So be there early. None of you seem to have a problem with that. I know the time of the party last night was 5:30, and it was completely full when I arrived at 5:15. Also, on Tuesday, October the 3rd, we have a travel talk with Chelsea Mendoza. She is the niece of Zoe Pedersen, who many of you know, and she'll be talking about new destinations and travel opportunities. And then we have our world famous trivia, which we have somewhere between 70 and 80 people every first Tuesday. And so that's always exciting. If you want to play and haven't played, call Lee Lopez, and he will make sure you get on a team. We play with teams of how many? 8. So it's pretty exciting and fun. Blue Shots coming up on Wednesday, October the 4th. So be sure to get that. You'll need to bring a sheet that is in your tag, or you can get from member services, as well as insurance, Medicare card that'll allow you to get the shot easily. Burke's Pharmacy will be here working with us on that. There's a new exhibit that will be going up. It is Virginia McKenzie's art, and that'll be a lot of fun to see. That'll be coming up on the 5th. And then the world famous Alligator Dixieland Jazz Band will be playing on Friday the 6th. So we'll have a lot of fun with that on the 6th. And then Saturday, we have the TPAC concert, and we'll have Morgan Massafé and Corrine Penner, who's an accompanist and a tenor, and they'll be here on Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. So those are some announcements, and my big announcement is to present to you our new executive director, Michael Friedel, And Michael will tell you a little bit about himself and all the ways he's going to change your community for the better. You're up, Michael.
Good morning. Good morning. So I'm on day 4 of my journey here at Tide Point, and last night was a great evening. Felt really, excuse me, I just got an allergy shot, so it's sort of working against me, I think, right now. But anyway, so last night was a great night. Got a chance to meet a lot of folks. Had a great dinner last night. Executive Chef Brian and the team, I just can't say enough about them and the dining or the food that we had last night. It was absolutely fantastic. So I'm not going to share with you today how we're going to make the community better. So day 4, just trying to get grounded, trying to meet the residents, learn a little bit about the community. So give me a little bit of time on that. But my goal is that once I get grounded I've been meeting with the board. I'd like to meet with the committees, committee members, sort of tie into all the committees, get to know each committee and what they're doing and what they're working on, what their goals are. And then once I get through that, I'll be joining some committees permanently. So really excited about that opportunity, and from what I read in the board minutes and hear from the board, there's a lot of positive things that are taking place at the community. So thank you for your involvement, your efforts in the community, and all that you're doing in the community. I may take a little bit of a different approach with this meeting. I think it's a great meeting, and Tom shared his approach to it. I might bring in some guest speakers from time to time, some directors that might be able to share some updates about what's going on within their department. From time to time, we might have a PowerPoint presentation to go over. As a matter of fact, next month we have a guest speaker coming in from our corporate team. She's going to share about hurricanes, I believe, and risk management. So looking forward to that. So it may be a little bit different, so just bear with me. I'll bounce some of these ideas off the board and get their feedback as we move forward to see really what resonates and what works well. At the end of the day, though, I just want to make sure that I'm sharing great information with you and you know, that whatever's going on in the community, we're just trying to provide updates for you as we move forward. So I would also say, once again, last night I had an opportunity just to thank the board and the team here and V as a company just for welcoming me to the community. Felt very welcome last night, had some great conversations at the dinner table with the folks that I was sitting with. So that really helps me get acclimated and sort of helps me get traction as I join this community, so I do appreciate that. And just a little bit about me and my background. You may have heard this already. You may have seen it in some of the write-ups. So originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and grew up there, and then lived most of my adult life outside of Philadelphia, in a town called Media, Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, I met a resident here last night that didn't live too far from there, and we had a good chat just about the area that she lived in. Saw another hand, yeah. So. And then had an opportunity to move back to Maryland, which I did, and then not long after I got transferred to Texas. In the last 9 years, I've been in Houston, Texas. But my family is on the East Coast, not here, and this isn't really the East Coast. I was corrected by some residents, some members. This isn't really the East Coast. But I have family in Maryland, and some in Philadelphia, and some in Florida, so this does get me closer to family, so that's pretty exciting. And this is a beautiful area. I was just sitting in the chair that Tom is sitting in and just looking out at the view here, and how can you beat that? How can you beat that? I mean, you really can't. So that just really motivates me even more to want to be here. So, but my beautiful bride, Deanna, she's still in Houston, Texas. She's going to be joining us at the end of December. She's finishing this semester in school. She supports students there in the Katy school system. She's really excited about coming out. What's important for us is, just to be tied into a community, that our church community, we like to attend church and get involved in our communities, either through church or support local initiatives outside of the church. And that this, I shared with a resident, actually, I think it was at the board meeting, that a lot of you actually sort of become my family you know, not blood family, but in many ways you become my family because it's just gonna be Deanna and me down here. So, and some of the folks I met last night, there was already a great connection, and so I do appreciate that. I'll just share that ahead of time, you know, that I'm a connector. I like to connect and I like to build relationships. So I like to have conversations and share with Mr. Christensen that, you know, I actually like to have dinner with some folks in the dining room from time to time. I think that's important, not only to hear from you, but also to stay connected. As an executive director and former administrator in skilled nursing facilities, I do know that you get most of your information, you can get it at the breakfast table. So you can catch the buzz about what the vibe in the community is in the breakfast area, or at dinner as well. So that just helps me stay connected to what's going on in the community and how you're feeling, and you know what's working well and where the concerns might lie and how we can work to fix it. So I'm a big proponent of partnerships and collaboration, and I believe over the years Tom's done a really good job with that, and I can feel that that's been embraced in the community and through the board. So that's going to really be good as we move forward. So not to say that there might not be some change, you know, and I'm not one to come in and just make drastic changes. I'm one from the member standpoint to hear what you have to say and where the changes may be needed or the direction that we'd like to go. Excuse me. And then we have the whole other side of the gambit, the whole other side of the game with the employees, right? So I got to meet the leaders and, you know, connect with our team and our cabinets and just tie in with them and hear what they got to say and what's working well for them and the direction they'd like to head and how I can support them. And even though my role is executive director, I also like to be thought as, you know, from an employee standpoint, as the chief people supporter. So as an executive director, I think our team needs support, guidance and direction certainly, but I want to be able to support them and keep them excited about their jobs here, because ultimately that impacts you. And from what I saw last night and over the last 3 to 4 days, we've got a great team here. So kudos to you, Tom, and the director, the cabinets members, and you know all those that work here. I mean, it really is a good team here. I mean, you can see it in their heart and their work ethic. And if you happen to be walking through the lobby here yesterday afternoon, I mean, everything was wiped down in this lobby in these dining rooms, so top to bottom. So that was really impressive to see, and just know that they are in tune with ensuring that you have a great experience. So similar to what Tom has been doing, I'll continue with the refurbishment updates. We might even bring a general contractor in from time to time. I think it's important that we stay on top of that and ensure that you have the right information and good information as we move forward, but also what might impact you. As an example, I believe we moved the formal dining room shut down, and now we're in the casual dining room. And Kevin came to me yesterday afternoon. You know, what are we going to do? It's casual, but it's formal. You know, I said, well, why don't we just post a sign, at least right now, you know, that we're in the middle of a refurbishment. And, you know, right now we'll just do our best to make it work for casual and formal. And it's going to be a short time, but just try to keep you abreast of those kind of changes ahead of when they're going to take place, as opposed to when they do take place, so you can plan for that. So we'll definitely, you know, make an effort to keep you updated. I know Joy works on the communication, and you know, I know that's another way that we keep you updated as well. So we'll be tying in with her on that, and just to ensure that you're getting all the information you need. I would like to take a minute and just, you know, I know there was a short note on Tom leaving, and he's been leaving for a couple months now, probably. Maybe even before we met. Not checked out, but I mean, he's been wanting to retire, and I just wanted to recognize him and, you know, say thank you, Tom. And 21 years is a long time, and your impact here, can certainly feel it, and you know the way that the community feels, and the staff, you know, the way the staff work, and just the overall appearance of the community. So I know your heart's in it, and you know you want what's best for the members. So I wanted to say thank you, and best of luck to you and your wife. And I know you got a lot of plans, but you're honorary board member, so I don't know, maybe we'll see you. maybe we'll see you from time to time, but feel free to stop in for lunch, and I'm sure the residents and members will welcome you, and I'm sure the staff will love to see you. But thank you for your efforts, and I know it's bittersweet. You know, when you leave a job, I just did that. You know, the bitter is leaving the relationships and those that you worked with for so long, and the sweet part is, you know, being on the beach and your paintings and drawings and children's books, spending more time with your wife and grandkids. So wish you all the best, and yeah, I do appreciate your time and spent with me and your commitment to making this a great place to live with members. So with that, I don't really have a lot other than, boy, I'm excited to be here. I really am, and I don't know if I shared, I'll just sort of chat for a few minutes now, but I don't play golf. I mean, I play golf, but I'm not really a golf player. Any golf players out there? Okay, got a couple. I play miniature golf. So I'm looking forward to maybe getting on the golf course from time to time. Tom, I don't know if you play, but if you ever go out, you know, invite me. I don't even have clubs. So I don't really play tennis, but I love to play tennis. Pickleball, I've done that once or twice. But as you may have read or heard, I do like to dance, like the ballroom dance, and I spend lots of evenings with my wife doing that. And I understand there's some dance halls in the area that we're going to be going to. And matter of fact, Joy invited me to the sock hop when I was out here interviewing, and I couldn't make it. But maybe the next one.
Yes, for sure.
Maybe the next one. So, you know, in my spare time, I like to stay fit, active, which I think is really important as we age. You know, and from what I can see here, it's a really active community. I was really surprised by the amount of folks that do yoga, chair yoga, which is pretty impressive. And I did yoga once, and I would have done it more. I mean, it was actually a manager's retreat that we did it, and it was just sort of a team building exercise. But boy, that was a workout when I did yoga. So you can get a good workout with yoga. But I do like to stay active, physically fit, and I think that helps your mind as well, stay fit as well. So that's sort of in a nutshell my life: work, fitness, church, and family. So and you're part of that. So with that, we'll open it up for questions. Who has our first question? I might have to phone a friend on some of these. So for our audience that is tuning in from home, possibly down the road, we might be able to set up a phone. We'll have to talk it through and see how we might be able to work that out. But I would really, first of all, encourage you to join us. I think the in-person live forums are really great. Understand if you want to stay home, because it's so comfortable, and you're probably sitting there in pajamas with a cup of coffee and listening, but which is really great, and you can do that. But we might be able to set up a phone line and have folks from call in from home, just so we could field more questions and get the feel from the greater community. So we'll talk through that and see if it's going to work for us, and if we can work it out. It's just another option to get more feedback and have additional folks ask questions. But I know somebody's got a question in here.
Mike Blunt.
Well, you were at Erickson.
Yes, sir.
Which I'm very familiar with, as I mentioned to you last night. I had my aunt, Boston, there. In your years at Erickson, what did you really like best that maybe you could bring to us here? Probably haven't seen, know what we're all about yet.
Yeah.
But what are the important things that you think are important that Erickson did?
You might want to repeat his question so people are going to know for sure.
So the question was that my former line of work was with a company that goes by the name of Erickson Senior Living. And I worked at the community in Houston, Texas called Eagles Trace. But we have someone in the audience that has family members at a community called Brooksby Village up in Massachusetts. And the question was, from my time with Erickson, what do I feel that I could bring here to really support this community and to create even a better environment here with this community? So So there's a few things that come to mind off the top of my head. So the residents, we call them residents, you're your members. So I'm gonna probably waffle back and forth on that in a little bit until I really get the member piece down. But it was a really vibrant community, very active and very similar to this community. So on my dining table last night, I was asking the residents, what do you do in your spare time? And they chuckled, and they said, well, we don't have a lot of spare time. You know, we do yoga, and we do dance, and we go to the water class, and then we play Mahjong, and then we have dinner. And she said, we really don't have a lot of time. And that was really good to hear because, you know, for me as an executive director, I want to support our leaders to be able to support you, you know, to be able to do whatever you want to do. You know, and we might not be able to hit the nail on the head to do everything, but I think a vibrant community is important. So I'll be tying in with our resident life team and leaders and just to see exactly where they are, where the opportunities may lie. I would rely on your feedback. Also, you know, if there's something that's a club or something that's not here that you'd like to start, you know, then to see how we can start it. So we had 136 resident-led clubs there, which isn't uncommon in Erickson communities. Now, our communities are big, so it doesn't mean we're gonna have 126 here. It's all, got to keep it in perspective, the number of residents we have, the number of clubs. But if someone wanted to have a chess club, you know, and felt very passionate about that, and there were other members that wanted to play chess, then, you know, we'd help them create the structure and we'd get it on the calendar for them to be able to have a chess club or a backgammon, or Texas Hold'em was pretty popular. You know, poker games from time to time were pretty popular. So I would encourage the members, if there's something that you're passionate about that is currently not offered here, you know, reach out to our team and to see how we can get it on the calendar, and you know, so that you can enjoy your best lives here, you know, at Tidewater. So I'm not sure what that might be, but you know, probably pique some interest, you know, and I'm sure we're going to get some ideas around that. So that would be, I think, at the top of mind. One of the pieces that really made our community great. Resident involvement was another one. So very similar to what we have here, you know, the board, but we had a resident advisory council. So it's a little bit different, but it was set up very, very much the same, with the same committees. And our committees were led by residents, and they had goals that sort of tied into our community goals. So I think, you know, that's helpful and important, you know, as we move forward to be in alignment, you know, so we're, you know, so the community is moving forward in the right direction. So, but outside of the resident committees, there were ad hoc committees, other than an entertainment committee that wasn't a resident advisory council or a community-sponsored committee, or we might have had a travel committee. It looks like we do some travel stuff here. So we had some ad hoc. We might have had a vision committee, you know, that wasn't tied in through our board or resident advisory council. So I think the resident involvement, we had a political, a government affairs committee, and it wasn't structured to say vote Republican, Democrat, or Independent. It was structured to bring in local politicians that might be running for office, so the residents or members could hear from them. You know, and I think so. And then they can make the decision, because we did have some guidelines that our residents could not post, you know, political jargon or information outside of their doors in common areas, because we really wanted residents to feel comfortable in their homes, no matter what political party they chose. So I would say they were probably two of the biggest things: resident involvement, groups and clubs. We had a really strong wellness program there, and it looks like we do here as well. So, but if there's opportunities down the road for additional offerings, I know that Sea Pines is an option as well. So, I mean, that's a great benefit for the residents, the members that live here, to be able to go to Sea Pines and play tennis or golf. I believe they have pools and other activities there. So, I would say they're the big ones. Yes, sir.
The other facilities that you've worked at, Were any of them CCRCs?
Yes, as a matter of fact, all of them, in the last 15 years, they were CCRCs. So where I came from was a CCRC, a little bit different setup. In Maryland, it was a CCRC. In Pennsylvania, CCRC, and then before that was assisted living memory care or a full service that didn't have the full continuum of care.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Nope. Is there a question?
Are
Yes, sir.
you willing to take an oath that you swear you will never tell corny jokes before the start of the meeting?
You'll need to repeat the question.
I'm sorry. The question was, well, am I willing to take an oath that I won't tell corny jokes at the start of this meeting, the start of the forum? So yes, I will take an oath to that. But it's all in the eyes of the beholder, right? So how do you define corny?
You'll know.
I might just try one out next meeting just to get see how it lands. And if I get a lot of these, then I'll know. Okay. Any parting thoughts? Or?
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your support and your amusement towards what I've tried to do over the last 20 years. It's been a great ride, and be happy and love everybody. Peace.